Okay, so there's another thing that kind of like chapped my ass this morning about, and I always bring it up. This is literally a conversation that I'm always talking about. If you guys follow me on any social media platform or even watch my long form videos, the main thing that I always talk about is Nintendo. Nintendo. And I'll say it again, Nintendo. I was watching a TikTok video today, and it kind of got me thinking just a little bit. The main video was even remotely addressing was the fact of piracy. What the gentleman was talking about was that corporations like Nintendo decide that, we don't own any sort of physical copy of it, or we don't own the digital rights to it, then there's no point in trying to appease them, or sailing the high seas, I should say. If that is the case, I cannot disagree with him. In a former life, quotations, former life, I knew some people or sail the high seas. In all actuality, I can't disagree with what man was saying. Most corporations, and I don't care which one you pick. We can talk about the tech companies that do music streaming. We can talk about the movie industry, Netflix, Amazon, all of these guys, YouTube, because they do movies as well, Google owning them, Microsoft, same thing, music, movies, etc. Streaming companies, all of them. Every last one of them is guilty of it. They write out these EULAs. They decide to tell us that we do not own anything. All the content that we physically buy, spend our $60, $70, now almost $90, we don't own. I have stacks and stacks and stacks of video games. And to tell me that I'm not going to be able to own these things, or that now going forward I'm going to get a license key, and at any time you can pull the license key from me, or with Nintendo and stick drift, if I decide, I'm going to repair my own stick drift, I'm going to go on Amazon, buy third-party Holophx sensors for the joysticks, and put them inside of the Joy-Con, and there's a possibility that you're going to brick my console. Does anybody else see, the ramifications of where we're headed? None of this stuff is going to make any sense pretty soon. We're going to get to the point where it's just going to be that they own everything, we own nothing, and that's where we're headed. I used to be a very, 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 very big component, big pusher of digital content, because I at one point I hated physical medium, because as a child you would buy a PS2 game, you would have nephews, kids, or whoever would come over, scratch up those discs to the point where some of them were just unplayable. I have tons and tons of GameCube games from when I was a child that are unplayable now because you lend them to friends. Friends don't really take care of them all too well. And to tell me that I'm not going to be able to own this content, or if I burn it, I'm some sort of devil, some sort of person that is now a thief. You know what? If you're going to call me a thief, then I might as well sail the high seas, Nintendo. It's not going to ever change the course of the argument. That if you don't allow me to own the thing that I purchase, especially at, let's talk about the Switch 2, at $500, if I purchase this device, and even if it's my phone, if I purchase this device and you tell me that I do not own it by any metric, and I can't do anything to it, I can't homebrew it, I can't install third-party software, I can't do anything like that, then you shouldn't really care about what I do to it after you brick it, or after you tell me that I'm not allowed to do it, after you tell me that I'm not allowed to do anything of any sort of nature of modification or anything to it. You know what? You can take the $500, you can shove it, but I will buy a console, I will buy a device that allows me to do it, and when you guys inevitably go bankrupt, because I can see this being another Wii U situation. Everyone's going to be hyped. I know it's selling out now, but when we get the initial installment base, I'm 100% sure that this thing is going to stall. I don't care. And most game companies that agree with this situation, because I'm looking at you, Ubisoft, you should be ashamed of yourselves entirely. You guys are big big components of actually telling us that we don't own anything. So you know what? I will figure out ways of getting the game that I want to play, and you won't profit on it. That's why majority of the time I don't care. I will go to CD keys. I don't care if those keys are stolen. I will find a way to play it, but I'm making sure you don't get any sort of benefit from my purchase. None. None whatsoever. You have turned it to the point where it is viable now. We're going back to the 90s. Napster, all those things, you know what? They made it possible. If I have to go and find a way to get LimeWire, I know it doesn't exist, but if I have to figure out a way to go to uTorrent and figure it out, or Pirate Bay, I know that's another one that doesn't exist, but if I have to figure out ways of making this possible, then so be it. Nintendo's the one that caused this. We're going down the rabbit hole. I can give two shits about what Nintendo thinks. I can care less of how they want to be treated or how they think that their console is worth its weight in gold. It does not worth anything to me. It really does not. And I can care less. I hope the whole industry is going to start shaking in their boots, because the consumer, and I really do mean it, if we go back to the point where pirating things is now the way of doing things, hey, I'll put on my hat, our matey, whatever you want to say, and I will continue to do it. I will make sure, for the love of just content, that I will continue to sell